What is up, everybody? This is Dave coming in today from Business Today with Dave Lush, and we're going to be coming together to talk about a bunch of different ways that you, as business owners, can create a good company culture in your business. So, first, let's start off with the company culture. What is company culture? So, company culture is something that the owners and management kind of you push for how you want your workplace to be viewed and how it's run. So, the way a culture in your business is going to work is how you treat people, what you do to make people feel special, the things you do to celebrate success. Creating an overall environment for your business that boosts your workers. So, whatever happens in your workplace, in the end, what they do, you congratulate them, and you're just creating a good company culture that makes your workers happy. And if your workers are happy, they're going to continue to work good for you. And if they work good for you and they're working their butt off as hard as they can, there's you're simply your business is simply going to just thrive because if you have good workers that care, then you guys are on the right path to success. So today with company culture, so basically how I want to start this is one of the main thing is getting to know your team. So when you guys are going over your company culture with people, is that it's really important to know every single person that works for you. Now that might be difficult if maybe you're coming into a management position, you're coming into an ownership position of a company that has 100 plus employees or 50 plus employees or even 30 plus employees here. To get to know all your workers, but to be upfront and honest, the more you know about your workers, the better your company's going to do. So, um, just make sure if you guys are in a management position, make sure you guys, whoever you're working with and your team who's on your shift, or if you're the owner, everyone who works for you, make sure you guys know your team, know who is the lifeblood of your organization, figure out who needs attention, and just I don't know, just keep coming back to them and give them plenty of opportunities for them to give you feedback to as a boss. So, an example of getting to know your team. For getting to know your team, how I would compare it to myself is basically I have me as the owner for my company. Below me, we have a manager. And then below the manager, we have the staff. So we have the delivery crew, the cleaning crew, and stuff like that. So what we have set up is I know my manager inside and out. I know everything about him. I know what he likes in life. I know what he likes to do at work, like what his favorite part is. I know what he doesn't like about his job. And not just that, the most important thing is I know everything about my manager outside of the workplace. I know that he does gaming stuff on Mondays. I know what makes him happy in life. So that to me as a business owner gives me the advantage to, if you know what your workers like, then you have a really good way to kind of get to know them better, get into their life to a point, let them know that you understand that they're human, and figure out ways that you can help them. So maybe for an example, because my manager likes to do gaming on Monday and Tuesday nights, maybe I can make sure, hey, I'm going to make sure from now on you got Mondays off and you got Tuesdays off because I know that's really important to you and it's going to give him time to go do the things that he likes to do. Because if you don't give your workers time to do things that they enjoy outside of work, they're just going to come to work angry, upset with you, and they're not going to like their job. So make sure you know your crew inside and out. So that's just an example of me taking care of him would say, other than giving him like Monday and Tuesdays off, maybe depending on how big your company is, maybe you can get him a gaming computer. So maybe you know that he's got a cheap just laptop like that he does his gaming off of. Maybe you can, after he shows you for if they've been with you for a few years, maybe you go spend that $1,000 or $2,000 on a gaming computer. And you know what? This you don't need to spend like that much, but the second you start showing your workers how much you care about them by spending money on them for things outside of the workplace, they're going to get so much more attached to you as an owner. And if they like your company, again, they're going to want to build your company up for you. And that's extremely important because when you're not there, they're the face of the company. Because you personally, as we all know, as owners and managers, we're not going to be able to see every customer we have. So it's very important for us to trust the workers to push, push our products and push our services. So getting to know your team, guys, is extremely important. So make sure you do everything you can to learn the insides and outs of all your workers. Um, and a big thing to bring up with that is that just because I know that he likes to do his things on Monday and Tuesday doesn't mean that's going to be the same exact thing in 3 months. So I know it's going to be really tough, but try to figure out a way to always be in your worker's head, talking to them at like the end of the day, having some type of maybe an email where they could email you about their life and stuff like that. And you're just getting to know your workers and understanding them, because Jimmy's needs on day one is not going to be the same on year two. Because maybe in 2 years, within those 2 years, maybe he doesn't care about gaming now, and maybe he's now he has a kid. So instead of buying him stuff for gaming and giving him off on Mondays and Tuesdays, you give him the afternoons off so he can go home and spend time with the kids. Or maybe you give him gift cards to a local grocery store that you guys can write off. So there's tons of little things to just make sure that you know your team and make sure you invest well into your team. Hiring with care. So if you guys, so this is extremely important. I'm a big and firm believer that you cannot hire someone based on a resume. Anyone can write anything down. You can call the past two workplaces like that they worked at, and they can tell you, oh, this guy's great, and blah, 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 blah. It does not matter. Every company and every single situation is different. So the way I look at it is that you just need to have a one-on-one time with them, no resume, and just talk to the person and get to know who you are hiring. So, I mean, I don't know what kind of questions that you guys get asked, but instead of giving them a really boring, just interview, why don't you ask them about like who they are and what do they like to do, and like start it off and be different and ask them like, what do you like to do, like besides working and wanting to be in this field, like what do you like to do for fun. And when he comes at you and says, oh, I love to watch the local hockey team play, I love watching the football teams, that's how you know immediately, okay, if I get this guy, he's going to get Friday nights off to watch the game, or he's going to get Sunday nights off to go to the game, and then maybe once in a while you can buy tickets and stuff like that. But to backtrack, that's kind of more of like investing into your team here. But if we're going to talk about with hiring with care, it's really important to be vigilant about all your new hires. So when you're developing your company culture, you need to make sure whoever you're hiring fits that company culture. I don't care how much you need that person, like right now, if you have a good culture to a point already in place, and then you start hiring people just because you need them and they don't fit your culture, they're going to simply ruin everything that you have just worked for to create that. So try and get a feel for who you're hiring. Ask them the different questions than anyone else would ask. you know um So, and then kind of like be upfront and honest, like with them too. Like tell them like, this is our company culture. Do you think that you could fit this? Tell them like, we do this type of company, and we expect our workers to always be smiling and always be happy. And it's just a good way to throw out there up front with them on what your company like culture is, and that we enforce it here. So, once you guys start hiring like people and you start finding, the one out of the three people fit your culture, and you can let the other two go, then you can start talking to the people that really make your company shine. When you start talking to the people that make your company shine, you guys are going to start getting referrals for people. If you guys can get referrals from your top performers from your company, give them an incentive or something to a point to make them want to find good people, because everyone and everybody has a cousin, everyone has a friend, and everyone has a friend of a friend. But if you tell them like, hey guys, we really need someone for this manager position, and hey, if you could find that manager, I'm going to give you Fridays off so you can go watch the game. And if he finds someone that's good enough like for you, then that's it's just good. It's just a good way to work around things. So get referrals from your top performers and talk to them. And you're I've always gotten the best workers I've gotten from referrals, not from job postings. It's really just talking to people. So, one big thing that I personally do for company culture is, especially with today's day and age, guys and girls, is that as owners, you're kind of you're hiring the millennial age, and you're hiring, the Gen X or Z, and you're hiring those people, and they've kind of been brought up to a point. I'm not trying to be offensive or anything, but like they've been brought up into like the good job, and like you're doing great, and like comforting, and very like they want to be told they're doing a good job. So thinking back 20 years ago, it's a whole different thing now with how you're hiring people and how you're treating people. So celebrating success is like a top priority for a company culture that you need to do. It doesn't matter how big, how small the success that the whatever they did was, you need to tell them they're doing a great job every single day. You should be, saying, hey, good morning, how are you, so how was your day? Oh, that's awesome, good job. Hey, today, this is the goal for today. Let me know if you have any questions, blah blah blah. At the end of the day, you come back, everything works out great. You find three or four things that might not seem like a big success, but you need to boost these people's confidence and make them feel special, because the second you start making them feel special, it all works into the company culture thing, where if they feel special, it means they like their job. And if they like their job, they do well. And if they do well, then you do well. So you kind of need to think back, and not the workers are working for you, but you are working for your workers. And that is extremely important for them to know, is if your workers feel like they're working for you and you're getting paid the top dollar, blah 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 blah, it's not going to be good. So make sure you're showing that they're working for you, or that you're working for them. So with celebrating successes in any way, shape, or form that you guys can find a way to make your workers feel special. If it's their birthday, make sure you guys go get them a cake, go get them balloons. Just do something just to make them special. Work like anniversaries, like, hey, this is your 1 month, thank you. This is your 6 month. This is your 1 year. Maybe their 1 year, you give them an extra personal just day off. Anything you can do that shows interest, that you care about your worker, is just going to make your company culture way better. So, and company culture, guys, is not something that you can just create just overnight. Whether you have 5 people that work for you, or you have 5,000 people, it's not something that you can do overnight. So start small. Start with your managers or people that are below you. Start understanding them, start understanding their needs, and then once you get done with them, then you can teach your manager. If you guys don't have time, or if you're going to pay your managers to do this, teach your managers and how to look at the workers and how they should be treating them. Again, celebrating the successes like that they have, and everything that they're doing so well. And again, I never ever start off a conversation with someone by saying, hey, like, how did your day go today? They give me like bad news, and that's some good news. I don't ever go, oh, and then I start talking about like the bad news. Like, the bad news is something that you can talk about, but it's not what you start off the conversation with. Always start that conversation and be like, okay, you know what? Like, that's no problem. It happened. I'm glad you took care of it like that way. Maybe if they didn't take care of it in a way that you would want them to, maybe suggest different ways that you would want them to do it. But other than that, you start off the conversation with like, well, you know what? I know that happened, but great job on this, great job on A, great job on B and C here. Maybe now you said you had a problem with this. Maybe we can move forward, and next time that happens, let's do this. So anytime, the rule of thumb for when you're talking to people is give them 2 or 3 positives before you give them a negative. So there's some advice, guys, for creating good company culture. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow us on Facebook to the Business Today with Dave Lush page. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.